live. What's up, guys? Welcome to UFC 226 Thoughts and Review. We had a big fight card tonight. Well, it was big until they took freaking Max Holloway and Brian Ortega off. That kind of ruined the whole vibe for us, but we'll go ahead and get on into this. That was my computer, by the way. I gotta pull it up. I gotta be a little quiet because my parents are asleep, but bear with me here. Wow, I'm at a little loss for words. I don't really know how to describe this pay per view. Because it went from really good to really bad to I don't even know what to say. So, guys, bear with me here. Just go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and recap what happened. So first off, let's just go ahead and like skim through these prelims a little bit. I missed the a Sun Sal fight and I missed the Hall and Paulo Costa fight because I was on the way to my friend's house to watch the fight. So I missed those last two fights. Um, well, actually, I stopped. I was getting ready during the Sun Sal fight. Like I wasn't paying attention, but I missed the Costa fight because he knocked him out, and I was already on the way. So, anyways, so Rafael Sunsao picked up a win over Rob Font. Rob Font beat Thomas Almeida last time. Sunsao's calling for a title shot. Don't know if he should get it over Cruz. I think Cruz needs to come back and fight Marlon Morales. And they should get the winner of the Dillashawn Garbrandt after they finish that mess. If TJ wins, then it makes it so much easier for the division. But if Cody wins, then they're gonna have a third fight, obviously. So we'll see what happens there. I don't think a Sunsao deserves a title shot yet as much as he's been winning, but we'll see. Um, so yeah, Uriah Hall got knocked out by Paulo Costa. I watched the replay; it was nasty, man. And his team actually called out Chris Weidman after the fight, so that'd be an interesting matchup. Chris Weidman actually didn't get the title shot for Whitaker. It was actually Gastelum because Gastelum has been on a better streak, even though he lost to Weidman. Weidman's lost 3 out of his last 4. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that too. Paulo Costa, maybe he'll fight Chris Weidman. And then we got to the main card. We had this one guy, brand newcomer, Gokin Saki. I don't know if I said it right. He was 1-1. He was fighting this guy named Khalil Roundtree. And Khalil knocked him out in like a minute, man. Like it says, yeah, right here, round 1, a minute 1:36. I remember watching it. That meant literally like straight on the nose was out, man. So that was a big knockdown, and it was a good way to start out the pay per view. I love seeing those like oh, they call it a TKO. Okay, well, KO/TKO. I don't know what it was officially, but man, he dropped that man really fast. It was a good knockout. But that Gokin guy seems like a nobody, so we'll see. We'll see how this Roundtree guy does in the future. We need to give him a good guy now. But they're still young, so we'll see what happens. Then we had Michael Chiesa versus Anthony Pettis. I wanted Anthony to get a win. I feel like he really needed this win. We saw how good he used to be when he had the belt. There was one point where he was literally like the man, like he was the guy to be at 155, and he just people figured him out. They started clinching him, and he got beat. And I saw all those fights those losing streaks that he lost, like Eddie Alvarez, Edson Barboza, Rafael dos Anjos, they all beat him in the clinch and wrestling. So they didn't beat him on the feet. Well, I guess RDA kind of just kicked his ass in general, but Eddie Alvarez wasn't beating him on the feet. Edson Barboza wasn't beating him on the feet. So he's the only one I really seen him get like pieced up on the feet was Max Holloway, but Max Holloway's a freaking stud. So Anthony Pettis is still definitely dangerous, one of the best on the feet. You don't want to stay on the feet with him. That's why people take him down. Michael Chiesa right away took him down. Wasn't able to keep him down. Anthony Pettis does have good jiu-jitsu and is pretty decent off his back, I would say. Even though he's not very strong, that's what's kind of like brought him down in the past. But he was getting some good reversals on Michael Chiesa, and he was beating him all over the feet. He knocked him down at the end of round 1, and I said, okay, here we go. And in the second round, Pettis finished the job. Michael Chiesa was kind of taunting him a little bit, and Pettis hit him with, I think it was a right or left hand, dropped him, and then got him in some. Well, first it was a triangle, and then he kind of switched it to an armbar. It was kind of a little triangle armbar here, but he ended up getting the submission right away in the second round. So that was I mean, we saw that coming. So Anthony Pettis definitely looked good this fight, a lot better. I hope he can get on that win streak again because I'm a big fan of him. So good win for Anthony Pettis. Michael Chiesa needs to go up and weight because he didn't even make weight. He weighed in at 157 freaking yesterday, and he said that was his last fight. So we'll see how he does at welterweight because he's a big guy. And you could tell, like in the ring, he was bigger. He was a lot bigger than Anthony Pettis. Um, So yeah, big win for Pettis. Next fight, this fight was the fight of the night, in my opinion. I think everyone can agree this was fight of the night. Paul Felder versus Mike Perry. Mike Perry's on a 2-fight losing streak. Paul Felder, he's only lost. He's only lost like 3 fights. He's actually really good. They're both really good boxers, and I thought this fight. I knew it was gonna be a scrap, but I thought someone would get knocked out. Um, and actually, like, props to Paul Felder, man, because that man was taking everything from Mike Perry, and he was fighting with freaking one hand. Like, he reminded me a lot of the Whitaker fight. Like, he was getting pieced up a lot, but he was still fighting with one hand. I do think that played a factor in the decision. I want to see them fight again because this is a potential fight of the year candidate right here. It was a good fight. Mike Perry, Gaming Kings. Yeah, you're right. Right about what? You talking about the Paul Felder fight? I'm sorry, what was I saying? Paul Felder, Mike Perry. Yeah, so he broke his hand, I think, or he hurt his hand. You could tell. And Paul Fair, uh, Gaming Kings. I don't know who this is. I'm sorry. You gotta spit your name, bro. I'm not good with names. I probably do know who it is. I'm not thinking right now. So yeah, Mike Perry was hitting him with. He cut him open with a headbutt, and then he just made it worse with the left. He did a left uppercut kind of type thing, and he hit him right on the temple of his head, and like he opened him up, and he was bleeding the whole time. I'm glad they didn't stop the fight. And oh yeah, Mike Perry's Philly. Okay, Mooney, I didn't know your name was Gaming Kings. What the heck? I was supposed to know that. Okay, so I definitely want to see them fight again, but because I kind of feel like Paul Felder could have won the fight if he didn't like hurt his hand, but we'll see what happens there. And now the next fight, I don't even think we need to talk about this. Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. Man, I'm gonna say that there's nothing really to say here. I mean, anybody who wants to fight knows that this was the worst fight. I mean, when you set a record for least amount of strikes thrown in a UFC fight, like they were just out there dancing. Like there was a time where Herb Dean literally like stepped in the ring or stepped in the middle of them. He said, "Guys, I need you to engage." And like the cameraman like zoomed in on him and everything, and like they still didn't do anything. First of all I gotta say is Francis is suffering from PTSD because Stipe ruined that man. Like this dude is never gonna be the same after that fight. I don't know what happened. I thought he was gonna be more like he definitely looked a lot. He didn't look as big as the Stipe fight, and in the previous he looked a lot smaller, but he did look more cut and he looked fit. So I thought he would um, be in a bit more shape this fight, but you couldn't really tell because he didn't do anything. I thought he was being more conservative in the first round, but this man didn't do anything. Derek Lewis back spasms. You know he's not gonna do anything. He's a big guy. He was throwing switch kicks, which was kind of weird. But honestly. Okay, we are back. So we're having some connection problems, so I got to finish up real quick. So like I said, Derek Lewis ended up winning by decision. But if you think about it, no one really won this fight. It was terrible. Francis never going to be the same. Probably going to get cut. I mean, this was a terrible fight, and it kind of brought the whole pay per view down for me. And it's a shame because I really thought this was going to be like a fight that wasn't going to go past the first round, or if it was, then they were going to kill each other because they were so dead. Um, but very disappointing. And whoever was on that Francis hype train is definitely off of it now. Now the main event: Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier, heavyweight super fight. We got DC light heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic, heavyweight champion, baddest man on the planet. Daniel Cormier knocked this man out. I never thought I would see it, man. I never thought I would see it. He first off, all I gotta say is DC was huge, man. Like you could tell he was way bigger, 30 pounds heavier. Like he was big. And Stipe, he just did not look good, man. Like he was pressuring DC. He was clinching him, getting some good shots in him. But after that, he just slowed down. DC got a nasty eye poke within like the first 2 minutes, and it kind of looked like it slowed him down a little bit. But no excuses. He got knocked out, man. Like Stipe just did not look good. I knew Stipe. Okay, so if y'all guys go back to my Nagano and Stipe video where when I was on the hype train to Nagano and I said Nagano was gonna knock him out, I thought he was gonna knock him out because I said I've seen Stipe hurt. You know, Alistair Overeem dropped him before. Stefan Struve knocked him out. So I think like there was definitely like a way that Stipe can get knocked out, and this chin that I saw from Stipe tonight from DC is the same exact chin that I saw from when he got dropped by Alistair and from when Stefan Struve beat him earlier in his career. So I knew that didn't really surprise me, but I did not think that DC would have the power to do it. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should have thought that because Daniel Cormier, um, if you think about it, he's bigger at heavyweight, so he's stronger and he can hit harder. And people have been saying like, "Oh, he's been knocking out training partners in practice." Well, I can see why he did that too. And Stipe obviously already cemented himself as the greatest heavyweight of all time. He broke Cain Velasquez's title defense, um, and Daniel Cormier is a two-division champion. Man, I don't really like DC just because the way he talks. But hey, it is what it is. So that kind of sucked, guys. DC ended up winning, and then let's go ahead and get into the whole Brock Lesnar shenanigan thingy. So we all know Brock Lesnar's still with the WWE. We all know that, but he's also still signed with the UFC apparently. So we all know this is just for money. Daniel Cormier called him out, Brock Lesnar, and he came in the ring and he pushed him and all started talking crap, and it's like it kind of seems scripted. You could just tell. I mean, Brock is not good on the mic, WWE or UFC. So, I mean, I just feel like the whole like obviously UFC is real. It's not WWE. It's not fake. It's not scripted. But at the same time, like I feel like all that pushing and shoving and all the talk, like the shit talking, is just all for the money, man. Like and all for the fame because Brock Lesnar doesn't give a shit that much. He really doesn't care. He's getting paid. Dana White's paying him. That's all he cares about. So anyways, we're looking like it's gonna be DC versus Brock Lesnar, um, and that's it, man. DC solidified himself as pound for pound guy right now. I mean, I hate to say it, but he's probably top five right now. Um, as greatest of all times. Sucks to say that, but he'll never beat John Jones. Just saying that. Even though John Jones cheated, he'll never be as good as John Jones, and that will haunt him for the rest of his life. But Jones is a fuck up anyway, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with the whole John Jones. He's probably done, but man, I wish that could have went differently. I wish that could have went differently, and I wish Cain Velasquez would have never got injured because maybe we wouldn't have ever saw how good Stipe was. But then again, Daniel Cormier and Cain wouldn't have fought ever because they're training partners, and that's why DC went down to fight Jones. So maybe we would have saw Cain and Jones. Like, there's so many ways to look at like how much different it would be if this stuff didn't happen. If Jones didn't f up, if Cain never got hurt, if Anderson Silva never lost to Chris Weidman, him and John Jones would have fought. Like, it's so crazy to believe like all these scenarios that would have happened if this didn't happen, if that didn't happen, if this didn't happen. Like it's just so hard to think about it, and that's what makes this sport so good. But overall, I'm just gonna say that the card was kind of a big blow because I didn't want DC to win, and the Francis fight was just terrible, so bad. So that's it for me, guys. Let me know what y'all thought. I thought it was pretty disappointing overall. Congrats to DC, I guess. Paul Felder, Mike Perry, great job. Francis, Derek Lewis, blow. That's it for me. Like and subscribe, guys. More UFC content coming. We got Dillashaw and Garbrandt next month. Actually, less than a month, August 4th. So stay tuned for that. And we got some fights coming. All right, peace out. Good night, guys.